The topic of meaning and meaninglessness seems to be like grasping for a bar of soap. It's such a slippery subject. And for example, like you pointed out earlier, I think a great way to just refute that level of thinking is, well, if you have a dogmatic approach to meaninglessness and being a stalwart for the fact that life has no meaning, you're putting meaning behind meaninglessness,
Yeah.
said. And it just reminds me of just, like some teenagers saying like, oh, like life is so pointless. Ugh, I hate everything. It's like your very the very act of existence of having awareness, uh, the things that are reflected through personal meaning, right? Like
Yes.
like this coffee cup here has meaning to me as it is a vessel for the sweet nectar of productivity. Although it doesn't have the same meaning as my dog on the couch out there, nonetheless, it has meaning.
Mhm.
The meaning of the relationships in your family versus the meaning of the utensils you use to cook. So there's that wide spectrum of meaning, but everything has meaning to some level, and you can't
Yeah.
can't interact with the world without attributing meaning to things and how it relates to you in your life. Um,
Right.
could you go a little more into depth? So you touched there on the end of it being one or the other, and I agree with that. Either you have no meaning at all, or meaning itself is unbounded, limitless, and infinite. Regardless of if you're attributing meaning to a specific tangible object, or you're providing meaning to an idea or a concept. Which, if you're doing that, which if you're attributing meaning to an idea or a concept, a principle, a virtue, a morality, a moral, um, that is limited, or it's limitless, because that is untangible. It's intangible.
Mhm.
Um, could you go into depth a little bit more in regards to that spectrum of things having no meaning to things having unlimited, infinite meaning?
Yep. Yeah. So you were pointing out again that conundrum of like when people are talking about meaninglessness, they're using meaning to do it, and they're doing it because they see a meaning in the transfer of information and the so-called truth of meaninglessness, even though meaninglessness contradicts the reality of truth. But so there is this conundrum, and it's actually in many ways a simple answer, and it should be pretty easy to dismiss the ideas of meaninglessness, because if someone's talking to you about meaninglessness, then you just say, "Why are you talking to me?" Because they're engaged in meaning. But
That's a legitimate. I don't mean to interrupt, but you're asking that question completely legitimately.
yeah, no, it's not. It's perhaps snarky, but it's not just entirely sarcasm. It's an actual flaw in their reasoning, is that they have declared everything meaningless and then decided to tell you about it for a reason, a meaning. Anyhow,